What's up, guys? Welcome to this video on Elvis is the Man. So I got some breaking news for you, something that I honestly did not think was going to come out. You know, I thought we'd be speculating forever, but the autopsy results have finally come in, and they released about 12 hours ago the reason for Lisa Marie's passing. So I'm going to read to you from New York Times what they had to say. It's pretty interesting, but before I do that, let me show you this. I think you guys would be pretty interested. As a lot of you know, I went to Lisa Marie's memorial. This is the actual card that they gave out, the list of how the funeral service was going to go. And then the list of like Billy Corgan and everybody who was there. It's pretty, I mean, it's super rare. Can you imagine if you had Elvis's card there that was going to be there at the funeral? So I just wanted to share that. So let's get into this. What did they say actually happened? So according to New York Times and others, Lisa Marie Presley died from bowel obstruction, officials say. She had a bowel obstruction. It goes on to say that Miss Presley's health problems after the bariatric surgery, as known as long-term complication from the surgery. So basically, she died of complications from this gastric bypass surgery. A lot of you are kind of surprised, what? She was always in good shape. But if you remember, maybe 10 years ago, I remember her always seeing her in the tabloids being overweight, and I was like, what's going on? Well, I guess she ended up having surgery. And I know some people who actually have had it. It worked for them. And it obviously worked for Lisa. It goes on to say that Miss Presley was prescribed opiates after her surgery and after an infection. So she had an infection right after it happened, the report stated. She was then prescribed another type of medication so that she would be taken off the opioids. I found this part interesting. Miss Presley has a history of over-medicating. She was known to forget she had taken her medications and would take them again. That's dangerous. The autopsy report said that toxicology results showed therapeutic levels of oxycodone in her blood. So it says, though, that it did not contribute to her death. So she was taking something for the pain. And that's actually, I think, you know, when you see her at the Golden Globes and she was looking unsteady, I think it was probably she took a lot of that night to just make it through the night. It's my opinion. Some other things that I thought were pretty interesting. It says the report stated that although Miss Presley had a previous history of drug use, she was sober for the past few years. So that kind of ends the speculation, you know, that everybody thinking that she was on drugs. You know, still health problems appear to have occurred after bariatric surgery, which is generally considered a treatment option for people with those people with high body mass index, which she had at one time, who failed to lose weight with diet and exercise alone. I don't know how you just got to have some discipline to stick with it, but that's another topic. For months, she complained of abdominal pain, fevers, vomiting, nausea, but did not seek medical attention, according to the report. So that's the sad thing. Like, if she just would have went to the doctor, this could have been resolved and she would have lived long. You know, some people were like, oh, see, just like her dad, just like this. Oh, she died early. It's just in the family. This didn't have to happen. Just like I don't think it had happened with Elvis. So if she just would have went to the doctor, she didn't get medical treatment. I think for months she was complaining of abdominal pain, fevers. So bariatric surgery, what is that exactly? It says gastric bypass and other weight loss surgeries known collectively as bariatric surgery involve making changes to your digestive system to help you lose weight. Like I've said, I've known people, I know you guys have known people who had this type of surgery. It says bariatric surgery is done when diet and exercise haven't worked or when you have serious health problems because of your weight. And I also read that if your BMI is like over 35 or 40, they recommend having the surgery done. Some procedures limit how much you can eat. Other procedures work by reducing the body's ability to absorb nutrients. So again, you know, some people say I never noticed any problem, but don't forget, you know, like 2012, 2013, actually maybe before that, because I remember she trimmed down a lot in 2012. She did have some weight issues. Now for the risks, and these are, I read there was a 4% chance that these types of side effects could happen, especially death. But if you look towards the bottom, it says longer term risk and complications of weight loss surgery vary depending on the type of surgery. They can include bowel obstruction. That's what the doctor says that Lisa Marie had, a bowel obstruction. That I guess that's what the pain was. And to me, this sheds further light on why she was acting like this at the Golden Globes. She looked unsteady, and you know, if she were taking more oxycodone, you know, you would suspect that would affect her motor skills. Like she says here, you know, Jerry, I'm going to hang on to you, because she was feeling unsteady. So it's really sad because this didn't have to happen. It was like a fluke reaction to a surgery she had years ago. I don't know exactly when. I think she took probably a little too much pain meds that night just to make it through the night and not be in so much pain. But I think that's why she looked a little more, maybe not sickly. I think that was probably from what was going on in her insides, fever. She had a fever as well. So that would explain why her motor skills were affected, in my opinion. But this is out now, and I'm happy about it, because unlike Elvis, this will put all the speculation to rest. We don't have to argue about it. We don't have to, you know, which I don't recommend anyway. We don't have to keep speculating. This kind of closes the book and ends the speculation. So it's something that, like I said, I was in actually Las Vegas at the time. I just met David Stanley, and this was obviously prior to those comments, which he apologized for on the UK documentary. But you know, so I was riding high. I visited the Westgate, which was the International, or the Hilton. I toured the showroom. I'll put the link to that video in the description. And then all of a sudden when I was on the plane, that plane back, that's when all this stuff started to go down. And it's sad because it didn't have to happen. She wasn't destined to die young. And it's just another sad thing. Hopefully Riley and her sisters are carrying on strong. Riley has just been nominated for an Emmy for her latest work, so that's good news. So this puts it to rest. So I am glad that this came out. I am pretty surprised. Now, Elvis's autopsy records are set to come out in 2027, 50 years after his death. Vernon had him sealed. I'm not too optimistic about that, because I think it'll probably just be closed book again. They're like, well, we're sealing it for another 100 years. We don't want you to know. But what's there to hide if there's no problems? And like with the Elvis movie that came out, people understand Elvis's story. So like this with Lisa, I hope the results really do come out with Elvis, which will close the chapter on all this, but they live on forever, because Elvis is the greatest of all time, king of rock and roll. Lisa is the woman. Elvis is the man. So thanks for tuning into this video, guys. Leave me a comment down below. Tell me your thoughts. Tell me if you agree with me that maybe that's why she was unsteady, because everybody was speculating, oh, she must have been on some pills, seriously. Oh, there you go, just like the dad, all runs in the family. But maybe she was just a little over-medicated for that night, and that would explain what was going on. Poor Lisa. But that closes the book on this. It's even, you know, kind of sad to say that. But talk to you guys next time.